Why do men choose to suffer silently, and yet they know they can approach Wanda, they can approach, a certain James or Peter somewhere and talk to that person?
Self-esteem. We've been conditioned not to appear weak. We've been conditioned not to show any sign of vulnerability, which, by the way, I keep saying there's the antithesis of vulnerability is susceptibility.
One of the things that I love about Wanda JR is how he explains complex things and he brings them together to a more simplified way. And today having him on a podcast makes me so excited because he's so vocal about the boy child, but also about things, social, mental health in general. And we're going to be having a conversation about how men are not taught to be human. They are taught to be useful in life because that's the way how we brought up. And I'm just wondering if in this generation of young adults, especially men, are still living the same way, especially the digital world. How are you doing, man?
What's going on, brother? Good to be on the platform. I'm excited to have this chat. It's been long overdue.
I appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this conversation for a while, bro.
They would be paying us really because, bruh.
I mean, if people knew how these conversations come together, I think they wouldn't even skip videos.
You have to literally get past quite a bit to make these things happen. So I'm glad that, some people are starting to catch on to the processes behind the storytelling. And Paula and Paula will get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do you believe in what you do?
That's a very interesting question, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I believe? Because I have grown to become more self-aware. And it's again spiritual. So it's by the grace of God. And a lot of experiences that shape who you become to the point that you start to understand that you're the answer you're waiting on. So the answer to the world around you is the world within you. Yeah.
Experiences of what you've become. What are some of the experiences that have shaped Wanda that we're seeing today?
I mean, a couple failures, couple knocks, trials, tribulations. So basically, experiencing life in its entirety. I think what really changed my life a lot was leaving the country, outside the comfort of my family and so on, and that really. It really put me out there, and it came with a lot of its own experiences, which really taught me to be the man that I am today. Yeah. So in a nutshell, I danced to some good reggae out there in the Bulaya. That song, Uganda, Singa Bulaya. Bruh, I faced that tune, no sense. But but the reggae found me there and it banged me. But in hindsight, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Yeah. I mean,
because it shaped me.
I think I can relate to what you're saying because being here, there are moments that I miss being with family or just breathing the air back home. Like that sense of belonging and identity. So it just bangs you all together and you gotta dance.
Bro, where you are?
Yeah.
Where you was Sikwe Gomba, bruv. There are many guys will be like, man, me, I want to go there. Way. Bruh, sigare yo. Over you know what? You enjoy your porridge. Baby yo, guamanyi. Uganda, we're in porridge, but this porridge here is manageable. It's the porridge here you can manage move around, you can navigate around. You can spend 8 hours in traffic. What? Guys are doing homeworkings. What? Chibala guys are there trauma dumping and divorce rates are skyrocketing. Domestic abuse is flying over the system is a mess.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy, what? But at the end of the day, at least you know that I don't want to sound selfish, but at least I know that I get a chance to become. So you use it as an opportunity you see it as a challenge, but an opportunity as well. To use your experiences, put them to the test,
Right.
As opposed to where you are oli muddugavu, you don't belong there.
Preach.
No watuddukako. Kwegamba goli porridge gy'oli mundala, you're in a different mix of kwencha. Era kumaweeka, mukamba kulindiridde. There are many songs for you, bro.
Oh my God, this episode is gonna kill me. I haven't laughed like this on that. Usually.
We're getting back to midday. We're getting made a featuring Chris Brown.
But hey, man. Real talk. I think sometimes we just get confused or mixed up in situations where we men feel like we're brought up to be useful, like in every way. Like, for example, if I came here, I'm trying to be useful in any manner that I can, much possibly can. Whether it's someone back home, ali mu Chikubo, he's in Chikubo, he is uptown. They're trying to be useful as men. And this comes with a lot of pressure, especially today. How do you say that this guy is doing mentally in terms of their mental state, knowing that they're being brought up to be useful rather than to live a life everybody should be living?
Interesting. We again, I keep saying this, we struggle with two ideologies, traditionalism and Eurocentrism. The African traditional society, there's an adjective as that a man subscribes to, which is masculine. The attributes that are ascribed to a man, which is being powerful, provider, and all these men attributes, which are, by the way, a very good thing from an Africa traditional society standpoint. So, having that and us coming from that worldview, and also dealing with the current nature of the Eurocentrism, which is more individualistic as opposed to the traditional Ubuntu, which is the community decides. Your uncle, your auntie, your brother, your father, your mother, so on and so forth. They sort of collectively decide who you become.
Yeah.
And what, we live off dead men's principles, as far as the food that we eat, And then now here you're now faced with, you have to stay in your ghetto.
Yeah.
You're alone, you have to fend for yourself. So all of these things now, there's this transition is difficult for us to make that transition as men, especially young men. Now you're being forced to become a bit more individualistic and focus on yourself. And it was, now from an Africa standpoint, Ugandan standpoint is more of about what you did or you have to work a whole year chasing one deal.
Yeah.
Or about you cut off a guy's ear, or about you do what? You have to just make sure you get one deal a year. So we're a country of deals. I saw that in the headlines.
Yeah.
Where it said, we're a country of deals. So, your inability to do that and also struggle with the current pressures of what a man is supposed to be and all these unrealistic expectations. When I say these things, I'm not saying I was a person who's crying. I'm saying it as a person who I expect people like me and young men to see an opportunity in it, but fundamentally understand why we are the way we are. Why is there so much dysfunction around us as young men? Because we battle with these ideologies and all these influences. Now there's, this is coupled with the radical feminism, the LGBTQ, and I mean, you're free to express how you feel, but there's also weaponizing these agendas, the trans agendas. Why are you weaponizing them and shoving them down people's throats? I mean, express yourself, right? But don't weaponize these agendas to then again weaken the family dynamic, weaken what we thought we knew. Because again, 80 years is the patriarchy, right? Omusajja yasalawo, omushaija, noechi, like the animal kingdom. But now, the men are being demonized and all these, expressions that are making them feel like they are less than they ought to be. And they're also being feminized as well, So generally, we're unaware of the influences that are making us who we have become.
Okay. So when I approached you, I was coming from the perspective of how everyone, especially nowadays, is advocating for a man or a boy child. But then also, I didn't want us as men to be in a realm of victims. So I just wanted us to have that masculine aspect in us, but also realizing or knowing that very many men are suffering in silence. I mean, the statistics can't lie. I think the suicide rate for men in African region is about 18 deaths per 100,000 men. That's a lot. And it goes back to what you're saying, which is higher than like the global male average, you know? So why do men choose to suffer silently? And yet they know they can approach Wanda, they can approach, a certain James or Peter somewhere and talk to that person. Why do they choose to suffer silently?
There are many factors. I won't sit down here and tell you I'm the most qualified expert in all this, you know what I mean? But what I'll tell you is that there are many factors that contribute to that. Obviously, part of it is self-esteem. We've been conditioned not to appear weak. We've been conditioned not to show any sign of vulnerability, which, by the way, I keep saying there's the antithesis of vulnerability is susceptibility. Susceptibility means someone stepping on you, and someone using your weakness against you. Vulnerability is choosing to find someone you can confide in and tell them, bruh, it's not kawa, or I'm not kawa. And the intention of having someone that you're close to in that regard is that they help you unpack those feelings, because at the end of the day, the more you keep bottling these emotions, that's now where the problem comes in, because the hardest part that we deal with as men is that we think that the problems that we have are only unique to us. So you think that what you're going through is only yours. And now when you start to get in that kind of realm there, that's where the kahuje kicks in. Now they start to kwegata, the wires.
Comes in. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Now it starts to manifest differently. And that's how we start to engage in substance abuse and all these addictions and even things like smartphones, man. Personally, I'm having to train myself with, this smartphone usage. So you start to look for these outlets, and it's not that people depend on these substances. It's because of the temporary relief they provide. That's what we're addicted to, the temporary relief these things provide. Whether it's a smartphone or it's a drug or it's a cigarette or it's alcohol, whatever it is, you're not addicted to it. You're just addicted to the relief that is temporal. So that's when now we start to look for those outlets. And before you know it, you now become addicted. When you become addicted, you're hooked. Your dopamine, now there's a chemical imbalance. Before you know it, bruh, you're fried.
Yeah.
And when you're fried, you're not productive. That means now you cannot function properly. You cannot keep a relationship. You cannot, nothing.
I think that's what happens to a man who stops being useful in society.
Yes. I mean, when you meet most men and you tell them what happened and how they managed to get to where they got to, they'll tell you it started with small things, very small, subtle things. And before they know it, they're like, I don't know how I got here. It was just one thing that gave me relief, and it provided me safety and made me feel comfortable and made me feel seen, made me feel heard. And before you know it, it's a downward spiral. But a lot of these things have to do with who you become. You see, again, we don't want to victimize ourselves, but it's important to understand why we're like this. And you see, a lot of these things have to do with how we were raised. The formidable years of conditioning someone are from birth to 12. So you'll find that all these patterns come from how we were raised, that made up our makeup. Yeah? And so the environment that we find ourselves in, let me tell you, that is something that we have neglected for too long, but your environment contributes to who you become, or it's detrimental to your development. Yeah.
So one day you've had a chance to live in two different environments. The environment that Africans or African men and women think is better, right? And whereas the reality, you know the reality. So where do you think there is a gap in the two environments that we're having right now? The environment that you were in before and the environment that you're in right now.
The environment I'm very grateful for the time I spent in the UK because it really exposed me to so much. And as far as who I ultimately became today, I mean, I got into the whole expression, art. I met a bunch of artists who put me on the education in there, a bit of the acting qualities and so on, the podcasting. Basically, it really exposed me to, it put me in touch with who I was, because I always had this feeling that I was not designed to be like, to look like, to sound like everyone else. I believe there was a unique calling, and I'm very grateful that I gave my mom a hard time, and she had to pray and find a way of letting me go. And so I had that, and one of the most important things that happened to me was being imprisoned for about 4 months. It was in the prison that I found my freedom here. Now, most of us have created these comfortable prisons in our minds, whether it's your conditioning, whether it's environment, whether it's relational, whatever it is. There are many comfortable prisons we have set in our minds that have now made us subservient and indoctrinated, and as a result, you cannot fully come alive. So, what I thank God for is that country really gave me these hardships that shaped who I've become, essentially. So, here, because it's home and because you know how we vibe here. Here everything is vibe. Chechi, planichi, luseke, ngonerako, what? Every vocabulary here is just for now. Chechi, kati. So first we want now. Tomorrow tutumanyi plan. Tutumanyi just simanyi na kati. Kacha kayika. Wote kaliwo zetonyumeza porridge wo. Yeah, I mean, so you're coming from a place of like, there are guys even their architecture is transgenerational. Fewane wafe. Planichi. When a guy asks you planichi, don't tell him next week. Tell him now. Zinjagala, I want my stomach from what? What do you call it? From mouth to stomach? What is it? From mouth to what? From hand to mouth. Here we're very hand to mouth people. So it's very sad. It's very scary, especially with where we're going, you know. Again, that's why we're struggling, because traditionally, Ubuntu, bebasalawo chetuli. The Eurocentric is make plan.
Back
plan.
to,
Now imagine, omuntu wawano, omugamba plan. You have never been raised to plan. We want now.
I want now.
You know, the thing. Twagala sente, twagala chimu. So everything is like this, bam. If you don't get a guy pointing on the table like this is not you, G fam.
Well, I wonder how does that speak to our emotional intelligence?
That's why your muzunga chatu twala speed.
Yeah.
Those guys are into ownership, and they come here and they know how to manipulate us.
Yeah, and they've just hacked us psychologically, man. And I just want to circle back to the 4 year. Was it 4 months, 4 years in jail?
4 months.
4 months. If someone was to get into your mind back then, during that time, what was it that you did that changed your mindset?
What really changed my mindset there was the fact that I didn't know what freedom was. You know, when everything you know has been stripped away from you and all you know is being in a space where you're controlled, and you long to see people in normal clothes and looking kawa, and you know what I mean? Like, that made me have a sense of what freedom truly is. And freedom is not just walking out. Freedom is in the mind.
You speak to that a lot. Freedom is in the mind.
You don't have to be in a physical prison to be in a prison. You can be in a psychological prison. And in a space like Africa, I'm a strong believer that our problems are not economical. They're not economic. It's psychological. We have been put in these psychological prisons for too long, and we've been enslaved. And I think that's what Bob Marley meant. Yeah. That mental slavery is in the mind, and it's the hardest to unlock because you're fed, it's in your DNA, it's in your blood. to the point that there's cognitive, on social media with cognitive dissonance.
All right.
You've been fed something. There's something called the mere exposure effect. That psychological phenomenon where you're repeatedly fed the same thing, that it becomes difficult to even accept a different alternative. And that's why all these agendas that are fed to us, and they're heavily funded, heavily weaponized.
Right.
And we don't even know. So us, we're just stuck. We're on vibes. We're on vibes, nobody mututwala, but we're on vibes because these people's agenda is here. And when they get you here, you're cooked.
You are, man, because
you're fried.
That's where, like,
chips and chicken.
That's where you see, like, the statistics that show that men, 2 to 3 men who die every day, more than women. It goes back to how men are, like, really those people that are leading, and all the pressure that comes with the psychological hack from, maybe the Western world, and with all the phones that we have, the dopamine that is also, like, so much, because we are trying to look for, okay, I can provide, if I can get like this, thank you, babe. That's a hit of dopamine. I'm looking for that, gratification. And, so when all that compiles together, I'm just wondering, I want you to speak to a man who's, like, coming out of prison right now. This guy is just, from what's Nalufenya or Chigo prison, and is just getting into the world. What should he expect? What is the first word that he needs to hear from Wanda?
Yeah, my advice to him, first of all, is to play Akon music, convict music. First, get acquainted with that music, and then it will allow you to first get patterned up. But anyway, Quencha on the side. The point is, I think for me, my advice to him is really, I don't even have any advice, to be honest, because at the end of the day, they know what they've been through, and people like that tend to understand what freedom is more than you who is outside. Yes, my emphasis is the one who is outside, not even the one in Nalufenya, because the one in Nalufenya, if they come out and they choose to be worse than they were before they walked in, it's a very conscious decision that they've made. It's the fact that they know what's on the other side, and they have cognitively made it a point to pursue. They know the outcomes. They know the consequences of their actions. It's the one who is outside who doesn't understand that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
The one on the outside is the one who doesn't know, because we're seemingly languishing on the outside. We're just merely existing. This one here has known what it feels like to have your liberties stripped from you. That one there, there's no concern. No one knows. Even if he chooses to go out there and do worse than what he did when he was convicted previously, that one has already chosen to die.
So
that one is okay.
So basically,
that one is okay. They are aware.
You have no kind words for the man coming out of prison who has not learned his lesson.
Bruh, that one has been trained. He has done rehab in there. He has been, they've sat down with him. There's been a whole behavior modification. There's been all of that going on in there. So really and truly, what are you going to tell that man?
Yeah,
that one was chosen the consequences, and more power to him. You go out there, you do your quencher, you get caught, at least you are aware.
Yeah.
It's worse when you find someone who has a veil on them and they don't even know what they're doing. They don't know the consequences of their actions. They're just merely existing. That's the worst place to be.
Yeah. You spoke about self-esteem and vulnerability earlier on. And I want to tackle it from the perspective of family and friends. And when I speak about family, so much in your content, you try to show us how you're connected to your family, and then also your friends. Like it's basically a circle that you rely on. So for someone who is out here and watching or listening to this podcast, and they want to create a strong bond with their family and friends, but they have no way to do that, what would be the best way to start?
I'm not going to be the one to give step 1, step 2. I don't do that rubbish, bruv. You know me. Me, I just simply share my experiences of what shaped me. 1, I believe, hear me, I'm saying I'm going to give step 1, step 2. I've said 1. There's no 1. Me, I love my mom so much and my siblings. However, thankfully, I had to leave this space because I always knew there was something different about me. And being here was boxing me in for too long.
Yeah.
And it was starting to affect my health as well. And I didn't know at the time. In hindsight, it makes sense. But the advice I'd probably give someone that I used for myself is leave the familiar.
What do you mean?
Leave that place where you... because in that space, you'll always be small. You'll always be the guy that they knew, that they raised, that grew up here, that used to play football there, that used to take a dump there, that used to, you know what I mean? They always know you as like a guy, a kakwisi, you know what I mean? Like a puppy. You know what I mean? Pause. But when you grow and you become a man and you feel like you have dreams to pursue that they're not familiar with, step away.
Yeah.
This is biblical, it's in the Quran. Step away, it's spiritual. Go and find yourself there, fail, fall. As long as you show them that you respect them, you're not a muyai, you're not stray, you're not a but even if you're a prodigal son, even the Bible talks about the prodigal son.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, step out there, experience life on your own.
Yeah.
It might be uncomfortable. They might take it with a pinch of salt. But eventually when you come back and you become a man for yourself, then perhaps they will say, you know what? We were always wrong. And my mom admits it physically that she wanted me to become something that I was not designed to be. And now she's starting to see the impact and she's very proud.
Yeah.
So it's all one thing. If you believe in yourself, step out there. Get out of the familiar.
Yeah.
Vewaka, go and venture, go and fail, go and try, go and, explore. From where you are. You don't necessarily have to leave the country. Yeah.
Right. That's really good for any young man out there who feels like, I have to be in this box. Maybe even like I'm starting to develop a certain
Great. Do you know what it means?
What's that?
Do you know what it means to be in a place and you're seeing the people that are your siblings, your parents, and they're just reminding you that whatever you're doing, be very cool. Like, first of all, you respect them so much, you love them so much. So whatever they're going to tell you is going to affect you, whether you like it or not, because it carries so much weight.
Yeah.
And it's natural because that's what familiarity does. It breeds contempt. It breeds this kind of thing of,
yeah.
And it's not like they even mean it. That's the funniest thing.
It just happens.
It's not like they intend to disrespect. It's just that gwe amweni sigara wano twakutumanga gundi sweet Pepsi wali ku gundi katateeka tyakubeera
boy
astrophysicist
bakutuma boy
gwe boy tula wansi boy they all go your boy so in their minds you're always what?
I'm boy.
You're always boy.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you to say, you know what? Because what's so funny is that even you will do it to your own kids. So it's a question of let me pack up my bags, put in my bokos, my socks, my what ngende.
Then you go figure out the world.
And what's so funny is they will start to respect you after.
Yeah.
Oyo mutabani wa fe. Kwencha. Pro Max.
But well, as we're winding up this episode, you have something that you're working on from your organization, the 3 M's. Do you want to speak briefly about it?
Yeah, we're starting a thing called the M3 Boy Child Mentorship Summit. Actually, we even have shirts. I have a boy of mine. He has come in with some shirts here as samples. He wants to give me a shirt. Is a let's have a look. This is just a bit of a. It's just a bit of a. There we go.
Yeah. Wow.
So are you seeing what the M stands for? The
Mold.
M3?
Yeah. Mold, mentor, and multiply.
And multiply.
Those are 3 strong M's.
Yeah, man. So this is exactly what we're looking to. This is what we're doing now. This is for the boy child. We've understood that the agenda for the boy has not been paid attention to. The boys are growing up unaware of what's expected of them. They're being demonized. They're being feminized. They're being all these apart from being omusajja. whatever that means. But we are here to help them rediscover, give them purpose and meaning, put them in touch with the professionals, entrepreneurs, vocational.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one that is run by the boys themselves. Our job is just to simply steward, equip, and let them do their thing. So you join as a member and you become for life. You're going to be an M3 member for life.
Wow.
Right? So this is an answer. This is for people, men who believe in themselves, who believe that they are exactly what they're waiting for. They are the answer to the world. They're no longer the guys to go out there and complain and grumble and mumble. You know what I mean? But they're the ones who become self-aware, become responsible, become patriots, Pan-Africanists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be the best version of themselves. This is exactly what we are talking about. No more complaining. The complaining is out the door. We are the answer.
Yeah. I think I'm so happy that you've started this, because lately we've been seeing a lot of like women, women.
Which by the way, we don't want to talk about too much, because the women are like, hey, okay, you guys, we're not the ones who stopped you. And they're right.
They're right.
You know, when they start throwing their hands like that, you know it's crazy. They are right.
Yeah, so
they're not the ones who stopped us from opening up our what?
Yeah.
It's up to us now
to take on the man to man,
to open up our own initiatives and fight for them.
Yeah.
The boys.
Yeah. Because boy child or men out there need all this kind of help that you, and I'm glad that you've started it. Are you hopeful though? Are you hopeful as a person?
Am I?
Are you hopeful?
Bruh. Hope from a biblical standpoint stands for, I believe, hoping that, when someone says hopefully, I believe hope comes from a, what's the word I'm looking for? Hope comes from a place of faith where it has already become. I don't want to be a one to hope and say, well, hopefully, hopefully of being, hopefully. When a guy talks like that.
Yeah, you're cooked.
That's a guy who is uncertain.
Yeah.
When I say hope, I'm not even using hope for M3. M3 is we have become. There is no hope there, bro. We have become. That's it. There is no hope there. It's going to attract men who have become the answer.
Okay.
Or who want to become the answer. So I'm not going to sit down here and tell you we are hoping that we have guys or this. No, none of that.
Yeah.
If you're a king out there and you want to become the answer, or you're the answer, let's get together and collectively create systems that actually work.
Thank you. Thank you for creating this, Wanda. So we have a norm here on the podcast where a previous guest.
Every podcast has a norm. Now what's this norm now, you guys?
So the norm.
I hope it's not.
The norm is not weird. It's not really weird. So
okay, go on. Go on.
They leave a question for you, because it's their quest. They're trying to understand really what's happening in their life. And the question that was left for you here was, what's your one non-negotiable in business?
One non-negotiable is what is that? It's basically, what's business? These are the terms that we also throw loosely. What would you describe as business? Like a partnership, or is it like a venture, or just how I conduct myself?
As a venture.
I mean, as a venture, it would be, I believe authenticity is a very strong mark for the type of something I'd want to venture into, economically and spiritually, whatever it is. I believe authenticity is really up there for me.
Yeah,
it's a non-negotiable. There'd have to be because at the end of the day, it's what brings sustainability. So if you're with a bunch of people who have become very self-aware, it makes it easy for you, because that way we are not trying to pretend and be performative and we're just rehearsing and regurgitating things, and no one is willing to look themselves in the mirror and look at that image. So yeah, authenticity is really up there for me.
Wow. I believe that's a very. Is there a question that you want to play for the next guest?
What makes you come alive? Atete tutimo tulimba. What makes you come alive?
What makes you come alive? Wow, that's a good question, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. Is there anything else that we've not talked about that you feel like we should have talked about through this conversation?
And I mean, for this, let's look at this as a part one. Hopefully, if the viewers like it, then we can always engage. I mean, me, I'm a conversationalist, and I like to talk.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I really hope that that's not where the hope applies. You get me?
Hope. Hopefully.
That someone there will engage and be, blessed by it because we're all cup half empty, refill like that. All of us need that.
Yeah.
And so the hope is that this adds more meaning to the conversation and that we can always build on from this. I'm glad that we've had this. It's been a long time coming. You had a brother of mine. And it's only right that we're having this chat.
How come I had forgotten? There is a clip that I need to play for you before you go. If they could play it for you right there. I think someone should hand you over the phone with that clip. Just play it.
The phone with the clip, eh?
Yeah. I think Dan
there's a clip I'm supposed
should
to
have a clip for you.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second. Oh, yeah.
Thinking about Wanda, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a communicator. He's a creator.
Man called me a comedy king.
But let me give you like a marketplace where these things already happen organically. So I am on X. I'm even on Blue Sky.
Yeah,
where no one is.
I am on Blue Sky. So, I have been wondering why Ghana are not on Blue Sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on X, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
Okay. The stuff I post on TikTok is boring. I will post a link to this podcast. But it's like, in intellectual balderdash or something.
Yeah.
However, the real mass market is with TikTok. So TikTok has got, Twitter has got maybe 5 to 6 accounts that are over 1 million in Uganda.
Yeah.
That's nothing in TikTok. Like,
very much.
There are accounts that are 22 million. And I like to respect the dynamic environment. Just because you're not getting my message, I'm not getting my message through to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not receiving messages. So you look at that mass market of all these TikTok creators, and someone has to ask, okay, how do we speak the language that explains this gathering?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reason I played you that clip is one of the things that you represent is communication. And you use a lot of intellectualism in communication. And you found a way of simplifying this communication by partnering up with your comrade, Cyrus, to make it easier for people to understand what you're talking about. How do you make sure that you simplify information so that if someone receives this information, they just don't walk away with just a mere listening, but they understand what you're talking about? So that's why I played you that clip.
Oh, right. I mean, I watched that interview. So shout out to you. Shout out to Mr. Angelo, my brother. Respect to you, brother. I love what you stand for and how you move in culture, even in silence. The edutainment is really up there for me. Edutainment and valuetainment. And we live in a culture where you can. I saw T.I. one time said in a documentary that he can do something in 3 minutes of a song that would take a teacher 1 year on a blackboard. Especially for this generation, where the attention span is, it's crazy. 8 seconds, and how it's packaged and how you curate your work. Right now, curating is more important than anything. You have to curate a message in a way that creates those spike in dopamine and keeps a person hooked and get this. There's a lot of psychology now involved in pushing messages, which is something that we haven't caught up on in Africa. That's why, the West is really taking us at a terrible speed because they're influencing. I don't know if you saw what's happening with Netflix and now they're in Congress and so on because of pushing all these agendas that are shaping an entire generation and civilization. So there has to be a lot of edutainment in what you're doing, what you're saying. So Wanewaka, the way we package what you see what's trending on all these platforms. You see the way the messages are packaged. They are very we don't want to think too much. Don't make us that we already have problems that now on top of that you're bringing more what? So now what happens in there is that you get people like Cyrus who are exceptionally good at acting. He's a very, very good actor. And he knows how to embody a message. So how do you then talk about these complex issues in a playful way? That dynamic there is something that I believe will be talked about for a very long time.
Yeah.
So what tends to happen is you find people who are listening to Cyrus the first one take or two takes of a clip. And they'll be like, if they will listen to Cyrus, then by the time they get to my part, it will be like the third take, fourth take. So they already have you, we have you with retention. Yeah. Then you'll find some people who are also fans of Cyrus because they love the way Cyrus thinks. Cyrus conveys his words and his playfulness. And that's what works for them. Then some people who resonate with me and might not even necessarily be comfortable with Cyrus's parts. I just met a lady earlier here today who is a very elite. She's an intellectual. And she's like, man, sometimes Cyrus really takes me off the mulamwa. But other people say they like Cyrus and may I take them off the what? But collectively, our job is not to control everyone. No. We don't know, not even control anyone really. Our job is to use these mediums to talk about very sensitive things in a playful way. Because at the end of the day, we must add meaning somehow.
Yeah. So
this is a very potent tool. I like to crack jokes as well. But I also like to have meaningful conversations. So collective, with that kind of ingredient there, you just put some bonzari in there. Cyrus is a very good actor. He knows how to do anything. And so that's how we manage to tell the African story.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to adopt more Kiswahili, more what. We want to now bring in all these languages in there and, tell an African story.
That's really amazing. I'm glad we picked up this clip. We had forgotten a very important part.
You nearly forgot. You were going to beat yourself up.
Yeah.
You're going to beat yourself up. But yeah.
Yeah. But I want to thank you for coming through, man.
So,
And
thank you for having me. Thank you. And
send my regards.
Let's look at this as a part one. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
You should have him on the show as well, so
Definitely.
you can come here and
Definitely, man.
give you some of his quencher. Yeah, and give you his quencher, and you'll see what you'll make of it.
Did you guys?
Someone who want to watch him.
Did you guys meet at Prestige? Yeah, we need to have a
Yes, we met at Prestige.
We have to have a part 2 of this.
Yeah,
because that's another whole.
We met at Prestige.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met him at Prestige. I said Naegwe. Nkola wano olego upale wano butoji bo jamu wano nkutwale mu mugoni mu content. Yazi akulega engezi mbaliga on the scene.
Oh man. Okay, man. I hope you.
All right, brother.
Yeah, I hope someone who's listening has picked a thing or two from your kind words, and they should look out for the M3 that is coming up. We shall leave the details in the description, so anyone who wants to know more about it, they can get all the information about M3 because it's very, very crucial for healthier living, basically. Let me just use that word if it applies. All right. Peace, man. Thank you for coming through, man.
All right. Cheers.
I appreciate you. Cheers.